What's up, guys? It's David here, and today I have a new series for you guys, and it is going to be called Fiction to Fact. I am going to be using real life science to try to figure out if things from fiction could be fact. Today, we're going to be looking at two things: fusion technology and power armor. The thing I'm turning into fact today is Fallout 4 and Iron Man. First, we should start with fusion technology. I'm going to be basing most of my science off of Fallout 4 because we're not really given it much context as to how the fusion technology works in Iron Man. So, miniguns in the Fallout universe use 5mm rounds, but since we're basing this off of real life science, real life miniguns, more specifically the M134, uses 7.62 by 54, I think, millimeter NATO standard cartridges. One cartridge has 3,304 joules of energy in each shot. I learned from the Fallout 4 wiki that one Gatling laser shot, and the Gatling laser is fed by a fusion core. So now we're doing the science for the fusion core and for the fusion core. Gatling laser each shot is about 1.785 times more powerful than one minigun shot. So 3,304 times 1.785 is 5,897.64. Divided by the amount of energy released per second would be 13,509,768.4, and that's for each shot. So, and fusion cores typically have 624 shots in them. So doing the math, that would mean that a single fusion core would have 8,429,783. 8,429,783,483 joules of energy. And there is actually a pretty good way to do this, and it falls in line with what fusion cores are in Fallout. In the intro to Fallout 4, it is stated that most fusion-powered things are powered by atomic fusion. And a good way to generate the power necessary in a very small form would be deuterium. Deuterium can mix with itself to create tritium, producing not that much energy, but it's very light, and the energy starts to add up quick. In order to get the actual amount of power that it has to generate to power a Gatling laser, the amount of deuterium gas needed would be a whopping 9.9 pounds. I can carry 10 pounds in one hand with minor difficulty, so... And a lot of you, and you know what, I'm just gonna go on a limb and say all of you are stronger than me. So if you ever want to go around using a suit of power armor and a Gatling laser, you guys can probably carry 2 in one hand. So you can easily just go around and do that. So if you ever want to sign up for the military, I will be telling you my little plan later in the video, but starting like in, let's say, April. Well, if you ever want to sign up for the military in April and want to use power armor, you can very gladly do so. Minor difficulty. Now going out on a limb and saying that Iron Man armors are powered by fusion cores. That it would adequately power it. As for repulsor beams, okay. As for repulsor beams, oh yeah. One particle beam from the U.S. Navy's newest particle beam laser weapon, that for one shot it wastes 30 kilowatts. Doing the math, it would mean that one fusion core could power 78 particle beam shots. As for flight, the thrusters are powered by about the same way as the repulsor beams. But it needs to do much less actual energy. So I'm gonna say half of the energy. That would mean that you would be able to fly in a Iron Man suit or a power armor with a jetpack about 156 short bursts of flight. These would be very, very fast bursts. So it wouldn't really take that long to get places. So, power needed for thrusters is not really an issue. Considering the fact that one repulsor beam is being delivered... Oh, never mind. No, hold on. I did not say that, okay? Never mind. I was about to do something, but it wouldn't work. Anyway, as for fusion cells, I'm going to say that fusion cells are 1/8 of a fusion core. So that would mean that fusion cells have about 1,053,722,935 joules of energy in one fusion cell. So, assuming that laser rifles and laser pistols do the same damage as a Gatling laser, that would mean that a fusion cell would have about 78 lasers instead of the standard 48 of the all-out laser rifles. Whew, I'm getting into a lot today. And as for the super strength of them, they could very easily use electric motors, because the biggest part of the electric motor is the battery. But they already have a battery, and they both have both fusion cells and fusion cores, but most of the super strength is going to be powered by a singular fusion core, means that they have over 8 billion joules of energy at their disposal. That would mean that very easily they could just hook up the motor to the fusion core and everything would be fine and dandy. Also, it would have a crap ton of strength. Not more than a Captain America, but less than an extraterrestrial Thor or a super mutant like Hulk or Strong. Hulk and Strong may actually be the same person, but I'm getting into all of that in another video. It would be like right in the middle. He would be like the middle Avenger. The middle Avenger. Not the strongest, not the weakest. The middle Avenger. That would be a great title. Absolutely freaking great. So that would mean that they could very easily use electric motors. And one problem with both of the armors is G-forces. They completely negate G-forces somehow. In order to ensure that the wearer's brain didn't turn into a puddle of goop after landing, they could very easily use the electric motors. What they do is, as they land, the electric motors send out a bunch of force, and every action has an equal and opposite reaction. An equal amount of force is being sent upwards, and that would negate the G-forces, keeping the wearer's brain safe. This is evidenced by in the Iron Man movies, TV shows, and other media. You can see the ground cracking after he lands, because that's not just like the weight or how fast he's falling. It's because he's intentionally doing that. The landing pads for the Iron Man suits, he must have designed them to be like really durable in order to stop them from breaking after every time he returns home. And in Fallout, there's a, like, shockwave. And that's not just because, oh, the power armor was really big and it made a shockwave as it fell. No. The suit intentionally did that to stop the brain from turning into a pile of goop. Wait. Crap! I'm not done. Oh, man, you should... Man, I wasted a lot of time figuring all of this out. Oh yeah. One individual fusion core would be able to power itself for about 64 days. It is based off of the life cycle of deuterium. So technically, if you're basing this off of hard Fallout lore, no fusion technology would work. It would not work. Because all of the energy would already have been expired, and it would have either decayed to the point where it just wasn't useful, or there's a slight chance that it would have actually blown up. That would mean that fusion cells would only really be able to stay powered for 8 days, which means that you can't let... Now, when sending fusion munitions for laser rifles to places like China, Anchorage, or Canada, because there was a Canadian front in the World War III, it's not what it's called. In the Great War of Fallout lore. During the Great War, there was a rifle called the M199. I found this information in Fallout 3 when I went to the Museum of Technology. And what was I gonna say? Larry! Crap, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, so the M199 was what is the name of, I'm just guessing that is the name of the assault rifle in Fallout 4, so no, you cannot call Fallout 4's assault rifle the Lewis gun, or like a combination of the Lewis gun and the Maxim, because no, it is not. It really bugs me when people call it that, because no, it's not. It's called the M199. It's a standard issue assault rifle of the U.S. Army during the Great War, 2066 to 2077. And, well, I think like 2076, where it was replaced by the laser rifle. And the laser rifle used fusion munitions. Fusion cells, to be exact. So, when sending munitions there, they either have to be created on the spot, or they have to not sit. But due to the intensity of the Great War, just the sheer volume of, like, soldiers could go for days with no sleep because they've been constantly fighting. So time wouldn't really be an issue because by the time it got there would already be a battle going on. Soplin-doplins were like really useful. Soplin-doplins. I think I've been watching a bit too much Murph music. Am I even authorized to say that? Ah, screw it! Whew. Okay. Wait, crap, I'm still not done! While powering a Iron Man 2... Oh, crap, I forgot. For the onboard computers of both of those... They would be an onboard computer. The holographic systems would be... I'm going to be calling particle beam technology repulsor technology because that's pretty much what it is. So, the holographic systems would plausibly be a really light repulsor system capturing photons and displaying them in a way where, and it's controlled by the onboard computer. So it shows things like battery life, integrity, and other important stuff, like your health, if you have any crippled limbs, and weapons. It would be like a controller. There would be some motion activated weapon systems in the Iron Man suit, but for some of them there could be a point and click system used by your eyes, and whenever you move them, the cursor moved, and whenever you blinked, the cursor clicked. So you could just easily have that kind of system to control the weapons. Wait a second. A single fusion core would technically be enough to power several houses for days. For like all of... Wow. It's a lot of power. A lot of power. I got the power. Okay. From all of the strain that Iron Man is put through in the media, fighting stuff like Russian and Chinese in the media, and plausibly in real life, if something like Iron Man ever comes to exist, which it probably will due to the North Korea situation, that is going to become a big conflict. I can assure you that. Like, I'm calling it now. I had to pause it for a second because I went to go do something. And, oh yeah, another problem, because I will never be done with recording this. It's already been 23 minutes of pure me talking about the science of Iron Man and power armor and fusion stuff. Another problem. Structural integrity. Okay, so firstly, the North Korean situation is quickly deteriorating, and a third world war is likely to come due to the fact that we are training our soldiers for raiding North Korean cities and raiding North Korean beaches. So it's likely that sooner or later we are going to invade North Korea because Trump is stupid like that. You can't say that you can't say that you know that he probably wouldn't do that. You cannot. Don't even try. Doing that is something that he would do. He's even promised to do it. He said that North Korea will see fire and fury. Well, so as for the structural integrity, Iron Man suits in real life, in the North Korean situation, would be used to fight Russian robots, Chinese robots, possibly Russian design Iron Man, because I know that Russia is a very advanced country, could probably do that with the tech that they have at their disposal, combined with the fact that the US will probably have already done it. And you know that Russia likes to hacky hack. Oh yeah, and because of the fact that we probably would have started that conflict, Russia and China would probably go out to help North Korea, and they have allies, and that would be the start of World War III. Because US has allies, Japan has allies, South Korea has allies, Russia and China both have allies, so that would just be terrible. But it's probably going to happen. I'm calling it now that it will happen sometime soon in 2018. I'm calling it now. Yeah. So, Iron Man suits in real life would be used to, in like Spec Ops missions, fighting Russian robots, Chinese robots, possibly Russian and Chinese Iron Men, and more than likely extraterrestrials. And in the real world, power armor, just standard power armor in Fallout 4, in the Fallout games, not necessarily just Fallout 4, they were used to replace tanks. In the Operation Anchorage DLC for Fallout 3, it stated in the simulation that the only thing that could break through the Chinese front line that they set up in Alaska, in Anchorage, Alaska, were the T-51Bs, even though they had multiple tanks at their disposal. Oh, as evidenced by the fact that they said that the Chimera tank could destroy any tank that they had in their arsenal, which means that they did have tanks in their arsenal. And why say that the only thing that could break through the lines were the T-51Bs if they already have a bunch of tanks? They were more durable than tanks. The best thing about tanks is that they can use heavy weapons and they're very durable. Power armor can use heavy weapons and is very durable. Power armor beat tanks out late in the war. They completely stopped using tanks. The only tanks that they used became riot control weapons. Riot control weapons. So that means we've already discussed super strength, so yes, heavy weapons, but durability. I have an idea that both of those power armors used strong repulsor fields. Repulsor meaning particle beam, if you forgot. Particle beam fields around them to have a very small deflecting device to expel a lot of the damage. It's not just because they had a really good alloy. it was because it wasn't just a few layers of steel or titanium or that kind of alloy that was protecting them from that Chimera tank laser. It was a particle beam field. All of this talk about what the Iron Man suit can do, but how power armor would do. Power armor wouldn't really have that much power issues, but Iron Man suits run an entirely different level of complex. That would take up a lot of power. On a battlefield that would be started in the Second Korean War, which would end up turning into World War III. If everything that I'm saying goes right. That would mean that there would be a war beyond anything the human race has ever seen. There would be highly advanced technology. There would be lasers, rockets. If we're looking at the Fallout universe, portable nuke launchers. Tanks that shoot lasers. Iron Men on both sides. In a battlefield like that, Iron Man armors would be using a lot of power at one time. On a battlefield, I can estimate that, this is just a blind guess, that Iron Man armor would last about 4 hours of continuous fighting until it runs out of energy. If we're looking at World War I, World War II, or even newer wars that are much less intense, like Afghanistan and Iraq, battles firefights would be at least 6 hours. Like the more intense firefights, which would be just a standard everyday firefight in this war's case, it would be, like, as an estimate, 6 hours. So, what the Iron Man suit needs is a backup. In next Avengers Heroes of Tomorrow, because I know everyone loves that movie, most people haven't even heard of it. But there it has the fusion core and 2 other fusion cells on the shoulder pads. That would be, say, a little over 2 billion joules. It would have approximately 19 and a half repulsor arrays, and that would be that it had, okay, doing the math, it would have 39 and 39 bursts of flight. So it would be an if all else fails kind of thing. Just to like get out of that situation. So technically, so in a situation like that, it would last about an hour. The hour would either be used on a battlefield to hold that position a little longer, or in a Spec Ops mission just to fly back to base. Woo! That is... Please tell me that's all. This video has been going on for 36 minutes. Please tell me that that was all. Yep, that's it, guys. This was a doozy and a blast at the same time, so I'll see all of you guys in the next episode. Bye.